This video is really important to me. I'll explain why at the end, so please stick around. Assalamu alaikum friends. If you are retrofitting a CNC lathe looking for a powerful but affordable controller, the Newker 990 might be the one you are searching for. In this video, I'll share my real world experience after retrofitting over 400 machines with this controller, including performance, feature, pros and cons, and who should actually buy it. So if you are thinking, is the Newker 990 really worth it? You are in the right place. Let's get into it. So here is the packing of 990 controller. So we are going to unbox this controller. If we see the cable of this controller, this is CN9 cable and these are the connection explanation of CN9 cable. And this is CN5 connector and this is the connection cable of the X and Z, and this is the power connection. This is the power connection of, and here you can see C4, and here you can see CN11 for hand wheel, and CN6 connector for cycle start and feed hold external button connector, and also it is used for RS232 connection. So these are the cables along with this controller, Newker 990 lathe controller. So you can see here is the build quality of controller. So build quality in this price is very nice. So we have ordered the 4-axis increasable encoder. As you can see the rapid keys, these keys can be controlled up to 4 axis. So here you can see C plus or Y plus, C minus or Y minus, so A minus. So these are the as usual Z axis and X axis keys. So here you can see the branding of this controller, Newker CNC 990 TD A model. A model is a servo model. So screen size is up to 8 inches and screen is looking TFT color LCD. If we see the back side of this controller, so here you can see the branding of this controller. Branding is CNC lathe controller new 990 TD A-2 means 2-axis controller. So input 220 volt, power is 100 watt. Here is the March 2025 controller. So it is a brand new controller we have imported for this video. So we have no sponsor and we are the distributor of this controller in Pakistan. So that's why I am here to show you this controller. So at the back side we can see the power supply of this controller. So if we look closely, so here we can see AC L and AC N means line and neutral. So it will be run as single phase or two phase 110. This supply volt input volt is 220 AC volt and output voltage are DC 24 volt and DC 5 volt. So here we can see the CN5 connector, access digital output signal connector, and here we can see CN3 connector and CN10 connector, and here is RS232 connector, and also we can get here from run and stop button. So here is hand wheel MPG connector. From here we can also run MPG alone. So from here we can get the turret input and output signal. From this connector we can run the electric turret, hydraulic turret, and any kind of turret. So here we can get the CN9. So here is a CN9 connector. From there we can get the photoelectric encoder signal. So in this price I think is a fantastic controller. So if we see the build quality of this controller, so build quality is I think very good. So here we can see the spot welding. At both corner we can see the spot welding, and we see here these are the stickers. So build quality of this controller is good. If we see the button qualities, you can hear the button quality. I will press. You can hear the button click. So button qualities is also good. If we see the button details, so there are the reset button parameter, program, redeem, tool, hand wheel, manual, auto, diagnosis button. So by the colors we can see the differences of both type of keys. Here is alphabetic keys and here is numeric keys. So numeric keys and arrow keys colors are the same. So here is the start button is a green color, here is a yellow. Here we can see the emergency stop. We will get the emergency button built in within this controller. So here is the USB port. So from USB port we can transfer and receive the program. So if we see the appearance of this controller, so we need to cut 385 and 225. 380 by 225 mm blank we need to cut to install this controller. So appearance of this controller is very good. Alright, let's take a look at the technical specifications of the Newker 990 CNC controller. There is a lot packed into this compact system. First of all, this is universal CNC controller. It's available in models for both milling and lathe machines, and you can even use it for special purpose machine like engraving or packing systems. The standard hardware supports 4 axes, but the system is expandable. You can add more axes later if needed. It uses a Cyclone 4 ARM processor, which gives it good processing speed and reliability. The maximum rapid speed is 30 meters per minute and the maximum feed speed is 10 meters per minute. That's fast enough for most general machine tasks. The controller comes with an 8 inches display featuring an 800 by 600 resolution TFT LCD. It's clear and easy to read even in workshop lighting. It supports both servo motors and stepper motors using a digital signal pulse train for communication with the drives. There is also an advanced model available with the closed loop feedback via EtherCAT, ideal for high precision applications. You get dual spindle control with 2 analog signal outputs for flexible spindle setup. For communication and data transfer, it includes both an RS-232 port and a USB port, so you can easily load or backup programs. It supports photoelectric spindle encoders up to 4096 pulses per revolution, which is great for accurate positioning and threading. Tool control is also very strong. It comes with built-in programs and parameters for electric turret with 4 to 8 tools, and with its macro programming feature, you can control any kind of turret, servo, hydraulic or electric. So here is an I button at upright on the screen. You can see many turret videos I have made many years ago. It also supports manual pulse generator, so you can do precision hand wheel movement during setup or manual machining. As for CNC programming, it fully supports international standard G codes, and the internal memory gives you 32 MB of program space, enough for most parts and tool paths. In terms of I/O, you get 24 input and 24 outputs, which is quite generous for the controller in this price range. And one of the best features, you can create custom G codes and M codes based on your needs. This means the controller also works like a mini PLC, so you don't need to buy separate HMI analog module or line driver. Everything is built in. So as you can see, the Newker 990 packs a lot of high-end features, both a regular machining and custom automation setups. So let's on this controller and let's see what is the result of this controller. Power supply, 220 AC volt input power supply. So we are going to on our power supply. So we are going to on our controller. Let's see how much time it will take to on. So here we can see the blinking. So here we can see the blinking at screen, loading, now booting the screen. So here is our branding of the controller. For remove this screen, we have to press any key. We will press enter key. The controller is showing the emergency stop. We will release the emergency stop. So here is the display of this controller, and we will press diagnosis to see inputs and outputs. So here you can see there are 8 input and output port control the turret or any tool changer. We can use these input and output for any other function. So here is T1, T2, 3, 4 to T8 input. A for A axis home, L minus signal, and L plus signal means it is over travel limit switches signal. It is Y axis, X axis homing signal, Z axis homing signal. It is K run means external cycle start, and K hardware external feed hold signal, and this is the XZZ0, ZZZ0. These are the Z pulse signals. So K left, K right, K stop. These are the selector switches signal. I have explained these signals many years ago, so you can see the video at my channel at this topic. So stop, T OK, alarm signal, alarm 1, alarm 2 signal, B axis signal, optional stop signal, third alarm signal, and these are the external inputs, and these are hand wheel signal. This is program button. So if we press the program, we can see the all program list here. So in the program, in this controller we get the instruction explanation, G code explanation, detail explanation. So here you can see the explanation of this G22 code. So G31, G41, G52, 53, G01, G0, G0 G0 is a quick point location. So these are the explanation of all G codes. So these keys also works as the function keys. N, J, V, Q, A, B, C. So these keys are placed according to these display. Redeem display, tool. From tool we can set the lathe tool positions, lathe offset positions, hand wheel, and manual, auto. We have already seen the diagnosis. These are the this is the setup key, and page up and page down. So by page up we can change the page display, relative, machine, absolute, distance to go coordinates, and order position, absolute, feed position, error. These are the program display. We can start for stop the program, we will press reset. So here is the real-time feature control. So this is the spindle rate. You will see here is a percentage spindle rate control. Here is hand rate control. If we press hand wheel, from there you can see the hand rate. And there you can see from here, here is 1 micron, here is 10 micron, and here is 100 micron. Here is x-axis selection, here is z-axis selection, and here is G0 real time control. Here is a coolant button, here is chuck button. If we press chuck button, you can see here, press M10 again, M10, M11 is for chuck close and chuck open button. Spindle stop, spindle counterclockwise, M04. Here is a point button. If we press, it will start. If we leave the button, the spindle will stop. And here is exchange button to change the tool is exchanges. You can see the display at screen. So here is the introduction of the real-time control buttons. So that's all about the interface display of this controller. So this controller is very good for professional use in this price, according to my opinion. This is the machining result of this controller. This controller result is not bad. Here is spindle start button. Here is spindle stop button. Here is counterclockwise. Here is clockwise. And here is MDI. Here is MDI interface. And here is auto. Here is the graph button. So you can also see the graph in this controller. So here is return button. So this button are to move. So here is Z axis is moving. Here X axis is also moving. You can also use MPG in this controller. Here is the MPG rate. We can increase and decrease the MPG rate from this button. So here is 100. 100 means 100 micron per pulse. We will select Z. Now Z axis is moving. So this is the interface of the controller. The interface is very nice and clean, and the interface is very friendly user. Every new user can use this controller. So thank you so much. Let's go to our studio. Now let's talk about the installation and compatibility of the Newker 990 controller. One of the best thing is how easy it is to install. You get almost all the required cables in the box, so the process feels almost plug and play for someone with the basic electrical or CNC knowledge. It's very straightforward. Newker also provides a basic wiring diagram to help you connect the main components like the drive, spindle and I/O signal. It's not too complicated, and once you understand the diagram, you can get a basic machining quite quickly. As for compatibility, this controller works well with a variety of machines: CNC milling machines, CNC lathe, engraving and special purpose machines, and even older machines that are being retrofitted with the new electronics. Documentation included, but keep in mind, while the diagrams are helpful, some of the manual are in Chinese or contain partial translation, so there might be a learning curve if you are not familiar with the system. But overall installation is smooth and the controller is highly flexible. It's a solid choice whether you are upgrading an old machine or building a new one. So this controller is very easy to install. Now I am going to show the wiring of this controller. So here you can see the wiring of this controller. These are the servo drive, and here is an inverter, and these are the relays of the controller, and there are some contactors. Here we can see the wiring of this controller. So we can use any brand with this controller. So that's how the controller wiring is installed. But this is the setup. You can see our controller has been installed at many machines. So some of them I can show you. So we will start from here. This controller I have installed since 2017. So still it is working. Here you can see the product has been prepared by this controller at this machine. And from there you can see this is a second machine, and this machine is used in production. And here is our third controller used in this machine. So this controller is very reliable and we can use it at any lathe machine, any kind of lathe machine. Let's talk about the pros and cons of the Newker 990 controller based on my experience. First of all, it's excellent value for money. If you compare it with big brands like Fanuc or Siemens, the Newker 990 gives you almost every important feature, but a much lower price. For many users, it's a very affordable and practical alternative. You even get some features that are missing in high-end brands. For example, this controller can automatically resume a program after a restart, a feature that's not available in some variants of Fanuc or Siemens. This interface is almost very user-friendly, navigation is simple, the layout is clean, and it's easy to operate, even for beginners. One of the biggest issues is limited documentation in English. If you rely on manuals or need help with the configuration, you might find it difficult, especially if you don't understand Chinese. Some advanced functions are locked or may require OEM access codes. That means you might not be able to use the full feature unless you are working with an official Newker partner. And finally, like many Chinese brands, Newker sometimes update the controller software but doesn't update the English documentation along with it. This creates confusion during setup and troubleshooting, especially for international users. So overall, the pros definitely outweigh the cons, especially if you are looking for a budget-friendly and feature-rich CNC solution. But yes, documentation and support can be a challenge, just something to keep in mind. Now the big question, who should actually buy the Newker 990 CNC controller? Let me break it down for you. First of all, if your existing CNC controller is having issues and there is no repair option available, this controller is a great retrofit solution. It's already popular among CNC retrofitters because it's reliable, budget friendly, and easy to integrate. Secondly, if you don't have the budget for expensive brands like Fanuc or Siemens, then this is a very practical option. You are getting a lot of value of much lower cost. It's also ideal for those who are building special purpose machines, whether it's a packaging machine, engraving system, or a custom automation project. This controller can easily handle that kind of applications. Another big advantage, if you don't want to spend money on separate PLC module, this controller has built-in I/O, handling and logic functions, so it works like a complete package, especially for small projects or compact system. Now if you are just starting out in CNC or you are running a small workshop, this is a great starting point. It's user friendly, doesn't require advanced programming skills, and gives you enough flexible to grow with your projects. And finally, this controller is perfect fit for technical training institutes and vocational centers. It's affordable, easy to teach on, and gives students real world experience without needing high-end industrial hardware. So overall, whether you are retrofitting, building custom machines, learning CNC, or just trying to save money, the Newker 990 is definitely worth considering. Now let's talk about my personal experience with this controller. I've used this Newker controller on almost 400 retrofitted machines, and honestly, this performance has been great. The motion is smooth, the part finishing is clean, and for the price, it delivers incredible value. That being said, it's not perfect based on my experience. If your machine calibration isn't accurate, the performance can suffer. In high humidity environments, I've seen the LCD get spoiled, and in some cases even the processor gets damaged. And if you don't have proper voltage protection, electricity fluctuation can damage the controller. I've seen it happen more than once. One thing I personally miss in this controller is the ability to run programs directly from the PC online. That feature would make it even more flexible. But overall, and I say this genuinely, this is one of my favorite controllers for retrofitting. It's affordable, powerful, and reliable in most conditions. If you are planning a CNC retrofit or building a special purpose machine, the Newker 990 TDC is definitely worth considering. So that was my full review of the Newker 990 CNC controller. I put a lot of time and energy into creating these videos to help and inspire you, but as a creator I also need to see if this kind of content really connects with the audience. So here is the deal. If this video reaches 1000 views within a week, I'll take it as a green light to keep making full-length videos. But if not, I'll focus more on shorts, answering your queries, and sharing exclusive content with my Patreon members. Your support means a lot. Even just watching, liking, or sharing can make a big difference. And if you want to support the journey further, you can also join me on Patreon. Thanks for being a part of this. Allah Hafiz.